Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I'm going to explain a movie named Hide and Seek. The movie begins by showing a girl who works as a nurse. After her shift, she's heading back home. While entering her apartment building elevator, she notices a man wearing a helmet getting on as well. The elevator stops on the third floor and both of them exit. The nurse goes to her apartment and the man with the helmet goes to the one next door. Later, the nurse talks to her friend about how her neighbor seems to watch her. During their conversation, she notices a shirt that isn't hers, making her suspicious that her neighbor left it. This makes her angry and she leaves her apartment, shouting out about how the neighbor comes in when she leaves. She claims to have a camera installed and threatens to call the police. It's revealed that she did indeed install a camera, and due to her suspicions, she hasn't checked the footage yet. After her outburst, there's a knock on her door and she finds a little girl outside. The nurse advises her to go home. When the nurse returns to the apartment and reveals the camera recording, she senses something behind her. She turns around to find the same man with the helmet. In response, she grabs a rod from her bag, and it appears to have blood on it. Frightened, the nurse's fear intensifies. She scrambled to escape, but she's struck by the man's helmet rod, causing her to lose consciousness. He continued hitting her with the rod repeatedly, ensuring she's remained alive. Eventually, he gruesomely ended her life, causing bloodshed. Switching scenes, we meet a family headed by Kim. He had a wife and 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Kim suffered from an extreme allergic condition, making her hypersensitive to even the tiniest speck of dirt. Her obsession with cleanliness and perfection was intense. One day, Kim received a call informing her about her stepbrother's prolonged disappearance. The caller, claiming to be the building's caretaker, urged her to retrieve her brother's belongings. Following this, Kim visited the building the next day. The same building from the opening scene stood before her. Leaving her family outside, Kim entered her brother's apartment to collect his things. To her surprise, she discovered items that didn't belong to her brother, a mix of women's and children's clothes, shoes, and 2 toothbrushes. Perplexed, she contacted the caretaker and inquired about the other living with her brother. Because they found similar items in this apartment, Kim sought answers from the caretaker. The caretaker explained that his stepbrother lived alone. To gather more information, Kim began visiting neighboring apartments. She noticed peculiar symbols near each doorbell and learned that these signs indicated the residence composition, how many men, women, and children lived there. The same signs were near her brother's flat. When Kim's family waited in the car, they spotted a game in a shop and insisted on playing. Despite Kim's initial hesitation due to being in an unfamiliar area, she eventually allowed them to play. Meanwhile, Kim made a call and after hanging up, noticed her kids were missing. Alarmed, she rushed out of the search. Eventually, she found them trapped in a car with a disturbed man. Kim demanded the man to leave the car, leading to an argument. The neighbor named Juhi intervened and managed to distract the man, allowing the kids to escape. When Kim arrived, she noticed Juhi's heroic act and expressed her gratitude. Juhi invited the family to her apartment and offered them coffee. Curious, Juhi asked Kim why wealthy folks like them were in that area. Kim explained they were there because her brother lived in that building. When Juhi heard Kim mention her brother's name, she abruptly changed her demeanor and pushed them out of the house. Kim attempted to reason with Juhi, inquiring about the sudden change in behavior and whether there is an issue. Juhi replied that Kim should make her brother understand to stop troubling her and her daughter. Troubled by Juhi's accusations about her brother, Kim decided to stay in a flat for a few days to uncover the truth. He sent his family home and stayed alone. Later, Kim was in the brother's flat using the washroom when he heard a strange noise. Upon investigating, he found no one there. He realized his mobile phone was missing. Confused, he realized the main door was locked, leaving him wondering how someone had entered and taken his phone. In his search, he discovered a hidden passage. Following it, he arrived at the nurse's flat, revealing that the neighbor the nurse was referring to in fact Kim's own brother. Kim's suspicions were validated. The neighbor indeed visited the nurse's flat after he left. Meanwhile, Kim's wife and daughter returning home from school. In the parking area, she encountered a man wearing a helmet. He entered the elevator with her and noticed the floor she got off on, learning the flat she lived in. With a parcel in hand, Kim's wife exited the building briefly, leaving her home unattended. During this time, the man in the helmet appeared at her door, knocking persistently. Opening the parcel, she found it empty. She found her mother, explaining the situation, and was advised not to open the door. The man attempted to access the apartment by reaching through the small door hole and fiddling with the lock. Despite his efforts, he couldn't enter. Upon her return, Kim's wife confronted the man outside the door. She called for help and a neighboring man emerged upon hearing her shouts. Faced with this investigation, the man in the helmet fled the scene. Kim was promptly informed about the incident and he arrived as the police was investigating. The building's security camera was reviewed, revealing that the man in the helmet had solely followed Kim's wife and hadn't targeted anyone else. This revelation surprised Kim, leading him to suspect the helmeted man might be the stepbrother. In response, Kim sought legal advice. Through discussions with the lawyer, he uncovered the backstory of his stepbrother. It turned out that Kim had been adopted by his stepbrother's parents. The remarkable twist was that Kim received all the family's property while his stepbrother got nothing, despite being the biological son. This was the result of an incident during their youth. Kim's stepbrother was falsely accused of misconduct with a girl. Kim, aware of his stepbrother's innocence, surprisingly claimed that the accusations were true, tarnishing his brother's reputation. Kim's intent was influenced by his stepbrother's medical condition, which accused red marks on his skin. Kim himself had a similar aversion of certain things, causing him to dislike his stepbrother. This deceit led to his stepbrother's expulsion from his family home, with his father being increasingly angry. Ultimately, the strained relationship and fabricated accusations contributed to the stepbrother being excluded from inheriting any property. Kim now believes that his brother is orchestrating all of these events as a way to seek revenge against him. After addressing his family's trouble and consulting a lawyer, Kim returns to his flat. To his surprise, he notices a mark on his belt, identical to the ones on his brother's flat doors, signifying the count of residents in each household. Curious, Kim investigates further. He discovers similar marks on every resident's door within the building. Meanwhile, Kim's wife goes to collect their children from school. After she retrieves her son, she learns that he had been waiting all day at school. Reviewing the building's security footage, she realizes that her son was playing at the park. Concerningly, the man with the helmet was also present there. Quickly informing Kim, they rush to the park. This time, they manage to catch the man. A scuffle ensues, but when they remove the helmet, they realize he's not Kim's brother, but another individual. Frustrated by the circumstances, Kim becomes disheartened. He takes his stick and heads to his brother's flat, only to find it empty upon arrival. Feeling defeated, he returns to his car, where he spots another person wearing the same helmet. This person seems to be following someone heading to a nearby shop. The man with the helmet notices that he's being followed. He sprinted away and Kim chased him down, apprehending the man. A tussle broke out between them. Removing the helmet, Kim realized he wasn't dealing with his brother, but rather a friend of the nurse from the beginning of the story. Together, they went to Kim's brother's flat to have a conversation. The nurse's friend disclosed that he lent his credit card to the nurse, who has been missing for months. Strangely, the credit card was being used extensively. In the middle of their conversation, Kim's attention was drawn to the man with the helmet, who was positioned near the secret passage. In hot pursuit, they rushed after him and arrived at the nurse's flat. While searching for him, Kim made a gruesome discovery, an unsettling sight of the nurse's lifeless body wrapped in plastic, covered in blood, hidden with a cupboard. Startled, Kim's reaction caused him to accidentally knock onto the lifeless nurse's body. Trembling and terrified, he lets out a scream. The sound reached the nurse's friend, who rushed to the scene. Grief-stricken by the discovery of the nurse's death, he is suddenly attacked by the man with the helmet. Stabbed in the back, he sustained severe injuries. Afterward, the helmeted man pursued Kim relentlessly, attacking him with a rod. In response, Kim armed himself with a knife and engaged in a dangerous chase. Kim managed to dodge a barrier of rod strikes, eventually overpowering and capturing the man. A fierce battle ensued between them. As Kim gained the upper hand, he attempted to remove the helmet to unveil the man's identity. However, the crafty man swiftly stabbed Kim's leg with a knife to fend him off. The painful injury forced Kim to release his grip off the man. With a knife poised to kill him, the helmeted man was interrupted by Kim when he seized a nearby brick and struck his helmet. Swiftly seizing the opportunity, Kim escaped a nearby flat that belonged to Juhi, a woman who was previously encountered. Although Juhi wasn't home, her young daughter, who had a keen eye, was present. In Juhi's flat, Kim tended to his wounds. Since his phone was turned off, he requested Juhi's daughter for a phone. The girl led him to a room where Kim spotted numerous women's purses, children's toys, and an array of phones. Among them, the girl handed Kim his missing phone, which had disappeared from the coat during his visit to his brother's flat. Kim's surprise led him to question the girl about the phone's source. She explained that her mother, Juhi, had given her the phone. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place for Kim. The helmet-wearing assailant responsible for the killings turned out to be none other than Juhi, the girl's mother. The room held items belonging to her victims. Overwhelmed, Kim felt dizzy and collapsed to the ground. As he regained focus, he saw his brother's lifeless body. It was exactly the same as the nurse's corpse. Before he could react, Juhi, also donning a helmet, appeared and struck Kim's head with a strong rod, rendering him unconscious. Believing him dead, Juhi proceeded to loot Kim's belongings. Meanwhile, Kim's wife was packing to send her children to her mother's house in America. Outside, Juhi and her daughter headed to Kim's wife's flat. However, Kim's wife realized she forgot her medicine and returned to retrieve it. Just as she was about to take her medicine, Kim called her despite being unconscious. He managed to tell her the shocking truth, Juhi, the helmeted assailant, that it was not a man but a woman, and specifically it was Juhi herself. Urgently, he advised his wife to empty her bag and leave promptly, as Juhi was likely on her way. Before Kim's wife could escape, Juhi arrived and attacked her with a rod, rendering her unconscious as well. Juhi made her way to the parking area while her daughter sat in the car. She instructed the kids to unlock the door, but they cleverly refrained from complying. She realized she had the car key, which she had taken from incapacitating Kim. With the key, she unlocked the car and attempting to harm the children. However, the children managed to escape. Kim had also reached the parking area, though his injured leg hindered his speed. The children had already made it back to the flat, where Juhi pursued and entered as well. Shortly after Kim arrived at the flat, however, before he could reach his children, Juhi struck him with a rod. She continued her assault, rendering Kim unconscious once more, then resuming chasing after the kids. In the meantime, Kim regained consciousness and managed to halt Juhi's pursuit. He calmly reasoned with her, explaining that if she desired the house, wealth, and money, she could have them all. He pleaded with her to not harm his family and to let them go. Juhi seemed to be contemplating his words when a knock on the door interrupted the tense moment. The police had arrived, causing Juhi to panic. Her storyline was about to come to an end, and due to the arrival, leaving her frightened. Once again, Juhi launched an attack on Kim, attempting to strangle him and end his life. A while earlier, Kim had noticed that gasoline had been spilled and spread throughout the house. Quick thinking, he grabbed a lantern and ignited the fire. The flames rapidly engulfed the surroundings, causing panic and fear for Juhi as the fire enclosed to her. In her attempt to douse the fire, her clothes caught fire, resulting into her being consumed by the fire, leading to her demise. The police arrived and intervened, saving the family from the inferno while resolving the crisis. The following day, the family was shown to be safe and sound. Kim had left his flat with a new family moving along. long. Meanwhile, Kim's own family was relocating to America permanently. In a surprising twist, Juhi's daughter was revealed to be hiding in a closet of the flat. Her voice chimes in, revealing that Juhi initially targeted Kim's brother, not the nurse. However, when the nurse threatened to involve the police, Juhi grew afraid and eliminated her too, thus utilizing both Kim's and the nurse's flat to avoid suspicion. With this revelation, the tale comes to an end, showcasing the family's resilience and determination to come over a terrifying ordeal. Due to her actions, Juhi was forced to abandon her previous flat. As a result, she sets her sights on Kim and his family, making them a new target. The pattern repeated with many people, where she eliminated them and plundered them for their belongings. Juhi's reign of terror came to an end with her demise, offering the possibility of an end to her malevolent deeds. However, a lingering question remains: her daughter is still alive, suggesting that the series of events may not have entirely concluded. And so this story draws to the close, highlighting the horrors that unfolded due to Juhi's actions and the courage of Kim's family to face and overcome the sinister threats of encountered. Certainly from the movie, Juhi's deception, two key lessons can be drawn. Number 1, trust and suspicion. The movie highlights the importance of being cautious about who we trust. It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, as demonstrated by Juhi's seemingly harmless facade that marked her sinister intentions. The character's struggle with trust and suspicion emphasizes the need to be vigilant and to make informed decisions about whom we allow into our lives. Number 2, resilience and resourcefulness. Throughout the film, Kim's family displays remarkable resilience and resourcefulness when faced with extreme danger. Their ability to adapt, think on their feet, and creatively confront challenges showcases the power of determination and the will to survive. The character's capacity to remain strong and united in the face of adversity serves as an inspiration for viewers to face their own challenges with bravery and perseverance. So guys, this brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, do consider subscribing. Bye guys, take care.